going to affect how you approach the game?
No, we'll approach the game to win the game. I don't think there's any other way to approach the game of football. So we'll do that. We'll prepare right. Respect our opponent. They're obviously a very good opponent. We've seen that all season in the league. So no, we prepare to try and win the game. We're aware of the situation, but we try and win.
Is it more crucial than ever on Sunday that you keep a clean sheet? Obviously, there's been quite a bit of criticism of your defence lately. Is it a question of having to defend as a team more?
I don't think it's ever not crucial. It's impossible to keep clean sheets every game. We know we could have been better this season at that. It's always crucial to try and get clean sheets. And of course, at the weekend, that would mean we'd get the result we want to finish within the top four. So that remains always the same.
Just a final one from me. On the injury front, is N'Golo Kante any improvement there? Is he likely to feature?
There's a possibility they will feature. He's trained probably for the first time towards a match pace this morning. So it's a decision I'll have to make, talking with him, talking with the medical team to see if he's ready to start.
Okay, next up we'll go to Alistair McGowan, BBC.
Hi Frank, I was just wondering, just sort of picking up on the defence, obviously you've conceded 54 goals this season. Is that a challenge for a coaching team? You and Joby obviously are very much known as creative attacking players. Is it a challenge for a creative attacking player to sort of mould a team which is more defensive?
I don't believe so. I think if you want to become a top coach, you have to try and be very aware of all parts of the pitch. Some of the greatest coaches will come from different positions on the pitch. It's more how aware you are of how you want your team to be collectively and how you work with them individually. We have a coaching staff here as a group, which we work very hard all the time to try and be as defensively good as we can be, of course. There are lots of mitigating circumstances around that. We've conceded too many goals. I'm very aware of it. I feel like I know a lot of the reasons why, and we need to keep working to make sure we get that down when we look at the two domestic games we have ahead of us, and importantly when we look on to next season and onwards.
And just picking off the back of the Liverpool game, a lot was made of the touchline row between you and Jurgen Klopp. I just wondered whether you regret what happened there, or do you think you acted accordingly?
To be honest, I think it was I've seen the video and I was obviously there. I think in terms of the language I use, I do regret that, because I think these things get replayed a lot on social media, and I'm aware of I've got 2 young daughters who are on social media, so I regret that. In terms of regretting having passion to defend my team, no, I could have maybe handled it slightly differently to keep that language in. But what I felt was, and I want to be clear about this actually, that some of the reports were that I was upset with the celebrating of the Liverpool team. Far from it. I think Liverpool should celebrate as much as they want with the season they've had. They can celebrate like they did after the game, like they can celebrate every goal they scored, like they celebrated when they won the league a month ago, and like they're talking about they'll celebrate one more time with their fans. I would have had a beer with Jurgen Klopp after the game and toasted what performance they've done this year. But there were things on the line that I didn't like from their bench, not Jurgen Klopp, people behind the bench, which I felt crossed the line. And that's what got me agitated. But it's done. Emotions run high. And amongst most managers and players and fans in this game, as I say, I regret the language and move on.
I go to Moose at TalkSport.
Hi Frank, how are you?
Hi Moose, good, thank you.
You told me last week the goal before the season started was to get Champions League football. So do I infer from that this is the biggest game for you as a manager since last year's playoff?
Yeah, I suppose you do. And Liverpool was also the biggest game because we had a point to get there on that one. And after this one, Arsenal will be, Bayern Munich will be, and there will be others. But yes, I can't walk away or hide from the fact that the goal was to get in the top four. The goal was also to improve this squad and try and develop and be as good as we can be. And now we have the opportunity to top four, so it's a huge game, no doubt.
The individual Drew's been great for you. Obviously, you'll be hoping he continues that on Sunday. People will also say that you take things from all the managers that you've worked under. What would you take from Jose Mourinho, from his management of you going into this game? 'Cause I can imagine if it was a Jose Mourinho Chelsea team with you in it all those years ago, needing 1 point, I can kind of envisage the way he would play it. But I think that's different to the way you like to play your football.
Yeah, I think every manager is different, and I say a lot. I always get asked the question of what managers I took things from, and I try to take things from all of them. And the most important thing then is to be yourself. So I'll approach it as I see right in terms of what I say to the players, how we set up on the day. Every situation is different. In the Jose Mourinho era here, we were generally fighting 1 point to win titles, not to come in the top four. And so circumstances are different. I know how strongly I feel about this weekend and how up for it I am. I'll try and convey that to the players, and then the rest is down to them on the pitch. But I have a real sense of that the players understand the position we're in. Seen that in their last two performances against Manchester United and Liverpool, and I expect more of the same on Sunday.
Vicky Sparks, PLP.
Hi Frank, good to see you.
Hi.
It's been another excellent season for Wolves. What have you made of the job that Nuno's done there?
Yeah, he's done an incredible job. The way that they moved out of the Championship, we played them pre-season when I was at Derby last year, and my first viewing of them and the system they play and how well drilled and coached they are and what talent they have in the squad and how talented their manager is. So they've gone on to bigger and better things. They've built up with an idea over a few years. They've added players at the right time. The manager comes across with a really great sense of humility and work ethic and talent. So it's an all-round great story for them, and that's why it'll be such a hard game.
And just last one for me, it's even more impressive for Wolves given that they've had to balance the Europa League as well. I mean, their first match of this season was over a year ago now, which is remarkable.
Yeah, that's a big workload, and again, credit to how they're managed and their staff, how they work with the players, and they've got a lot of talent. They've got a huge amount of threats, and they've got a real identity to the way they play their football. A bit like Sheffield United have in terms of it's fairly unique, and they have a great way of playing that makes it very difficult. So yeah, it's just a great story of whatever happens here with the game of the weekend. Full respect for the year they've had.
Okay, last two in this section, Nick Purell and then Nick Callow to finish.
Hi Frank, thanks for your time. Carragher on Sky the other night said Chelsea will go nowhere without changing goalkeeper in reference to Kepa. But is that a bit of an oversimplification, and can Kepa still be the goalkeeper you build Chelsea's future around?
I don't want to comment on other, because that's their opinions and they're very well positioned to have their opinions. I have to work behind the scenes with every position in the team. So my only thought now is how well can we approach these two games in front of us domestically, and then the one game against Bayern Munich. Don't want to get anywhere ahead of that. And that goes for every player in the team, not just Kepa or any individual position.
Okay, Nick Callow, last question.
Appreciate, Frank, you don't want to look too far ahead, but is there any advantage to Arsenal that this weekend they can rest and rotate with not much on the line in the last game, and you've got so much on the line in your game on Sunday?
I don't think so. I think there's near on a week until the cup final after that. I would expect that Aston Villa are hoping that, and Bournemouth will be hoping that Arsenal put out a full strength team or as good as they can be against Watford, and I feel that they will do that. So I don't see any edge in that by the time next Saturday comes around.